Hello everyone, Bashar here. So we have been voting for Vaultkeeper Wixwell for quite some weeks now, and finally all of the skills and the effects of the books and the aura has been revealed, so I wanted to go over them once again for the last time, and I am proud to say I was right. The A1 does indeed have two books that give it 20% buff debuff chance, which means he's going to be provoking bosses all the time. Well, you know which boss we are talking about, right? It's either going to be Magma Dragon or Hydra. Other bosses are not really susceptible to being provoked. So what does he do? He attacks one enemy twice. Each hit has a 40% chance of provoking. If the target is a boss, this chance increases to 80%, gets booked to 100%, and because of the passive, which we will see in a few minutes, it goes to 100%, and he will have a counterattack buff on himself all the time, which means the provocate is out of the picture, right? Fully and perfectly out of the picture, which is magnificent. And the thing is, guys, because it says each hit, even if the provocate is green, you have a very good chance of provoking it, right? Because you will have to fail, you will have to weak it twice in a row, so you are not provoking, right? And as I said, this just loops him, right? Because you provoke him, you put a counterattack buff on you, he attacks you, you provoke him, you put a counterattack buff on you. Since both actions are repeatable, it's just out of the way, right? Yeah, and it's of course insanely good. So the A2, we have voted for this again. Places a decrease attack, extends buffs, very good. Attacks everyone, that's also very good. Because guys, for Hydra champions, it is essential that you should be damaging with every ability, and if you are not damaging with every ability, that ability that is not damaging should be really, really good, right? I mean, you want to do damage all the time. That's why Necmo is so great, right? He damages all the time. There is no turn in which he does deal 0 damage, right? Because the turn meter push and the increased speed that he does gives him an extra turn. Then he does the decreased speed and leech, or the decreased attack, right? Which are both AoE. Just be a sec. There is a little too much sound. Sorry, guys. And after that, he increases the shield's size on everyone. And interestingly, this time the shield extension, the shield grow, is proportional to the number of buffs which had their duration increased. So I'm not very sure about this ability. So it's not related to the damage that's being dealt at all. It's only related to the number of buffs being extended. I mean, I would guess that damage would have to play a role. Not very sure. It's a little bit interesting. Yeah, I would say it is a combination of the damage that's being dealt plus some bonus percentage per buff duration increase. And this is the last thing that we voted for. This is the first thing that we have voted for. The A3 places 2 intercept stacks. Intercept is something new. I'll get into it. And then places increased defense and a shield buff on allies. And the shield, similar to the Valkyries, is based on this guy's defense. Pretty nice. And what intercept does is, guys, you place it on an ally. They don't have a duration. That's very important. They never expire. And whenever the champion in question gets hard CC'd, the hard CC gets cancelled and the intercept stack gets removed. So for example, in Hydra, let's say your guy, let's say you use this on, I don't know, Harima, right? And Harima hits the Fearhead, and the fearhead tries to fear it, and even though the fearhead's fear is unblockable and irresistible, still intercepts it, and we will have one stack of intercept left on Harima. But if we use Harima's A2, which is 3 hits, I think the fearhead will fear her 3 times, and the 2 intercept stacks will be removed, and finally then she will be feared. That's, I think, how it works. But there not being a duration is quite awesome. And his passive is, at the beginning of combat, he places a counterattack buff on himself that's protected for a single turn. And after that, he places a regular counterattack buff on himself. So he will have the counterattack buff on himself at all times, right? Unless you buff remove or reduce the duration, whatever it is. And thing is, he can extend the duration. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, but yeah, he will always have that counterattack, which means it's additional damage, and it's also provoke for the provoke head. It can also work against Magma Dragon. He is force affinity, by the way, defense based, obviously, right? And he has a 28% all around defense aura, which is not bad. Obviously worth going for, right? Extremely good. I mean, first of all, it will be the only champion in your collection that has the intercept ability, right? I mean, I'm sure the list will be more populated, this year, but having access to that kind of thing is pretty nice, and the abilities are very good. So a very nice champion, and it's going to arrive next week, I think somewhere like the 8th of May, the 9th of May, somewhere there, I think. Yeah, definitely go for him. So if you are doing the Path of Light, be careful of your shards, because I think it's gonna start with, unless Plarium changes the order of things, it's gonna start with a 2x on Ancients, the champion chase, and then in the second week we will have the Summon Rush. So that's my take. Very good champion. Make sure that you grab him, and I will see you on stream. Bye bye.